Imagine a scenario where the fate of young lives hangs in the balance, decided by the stroke of a judge's pen. This is exactly what happened when a U.S. federal judge intervened to stop the Trump administration from deporting a group of unaccompanied Guatemalan children, some of whom were already on planes and others waiting in government shelters. The decision came after an urgent appeal was made just before dawn, highlighting the high stakes involved in such cases. In a dramatic turn of events on a Sunday morning, the National Immigration Law Center, an organization dedicated to protecting the rights of immigrants, filed an emergency motion at 1:10 a.m. Eastern Time with the U.S. District Court in Washington, D.C. Their goal was to prevent the immediate deportation of 10 unaccompanied migrant children from Guatemala. The timing of the filing, just hours before the scheduled flights, added to the tension and urgency of the situation. District Judge Sparkle Sooknanan, who was woken up at 2:35 a.m. to address the case, took swift action. She issued a temporary restraining order that not only halted the removal of the 10 children aged between 10 and 17, but also extended protection to any other unaccompanied Guatemalan minors in the custody of the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. The order was set to last for 14 days, giving the court and advocates time to further review the case. The government's lawyer confirmed that the children who were initially loaded onto planes destined for Guatemala were promptly taken off and returned to the custody of the Office of Refugee Resettlement. This move underscored the immediate impact of the judge's decision and the ongoing tug-of-war between immigration enforcement and judicial oversight. President Donald Trump, a Republican, had intensified immigration policies upon returning to the White House in January, including efforts to locate and deport unaccompanied migrant children. The administration had struck a deal with Guatemala allowing for the repatriation of these children, with plans to begin deportations over the weekend. However, the emergency court order threw a wrench into these plans, leading to a heated debate about the ethics and legality of such actions. During the emergency hearing, Judge Sooknanan questioned the Department of Justice about the status of the children, emphasizing the need for transparency and accountability. Justice Department Attorney Drew Ensign stated that while some children had been loaded onto planes, no actual deportations had occurred. Efren Olivares, an attorney with the National Immigration Law Center, expressed concern that some children were still reportedly on planes in Harlingen and El Paso, Texas. Ensign assured the court that these children would be moved back to HHS shelters, but the situation highlighted the chaos and uncertainty surrounding such last-minute legal interventions. White House Deputy Chief of Staff Stephen Miller was quick to criticize the judge's decision, arguing that the minors' parents in Guatemala had requested their return. However, this claim has sparked controversy, with advocates questioning the accuracy of these statements and the true wishes of the children and their families. The U.S. Department of Homeland Security, the parent agency of ICE, and HHS did not immediately respond to requests for comment, leaving many questions unanswered. Meanwhile, Guatemala's foreign ministry declined to comment on the matter, adding another layer of complexity to the international aspect of the case. Inside the HHS Office of Refugee Resettlement, which is responsible for caring for unaccompanied children until they can be placed with U.S. sponsors, signs of the new deportation effort began to emerge last week. Melissa Johnston, the director of the Unaccompanied Children Program, sent an email to staff instructing them not to release Guatemalan children in federal custody except to parents or legal guardians in the U.S. The National Immigration Law Center and the Young Center for Immigrant Children's Rights argued in their complaint that the proposed deportations would violate the clear protections afforded to these vulnerable children under federal law. They emphasize that returning the children to Guatemala could expose them to severe risks, including abuse, neglect, persecution, or even torture, all of which would go against their best interests. One of the plaintiffs in the case is a 10-year-old indigenous Guatemalan girl who lost her mother and faced abuse and neglect from other caregivers, now detained in a U.S. government shelter in South Texas. She is one of several children who have expressed fear about returning to Guatemala. These children, currently in shelters or foster care across states like California, as the legal proceedings continue, the broader implications of this decision will likely be felt far beyond the courtroom, affecting the lives of countless children and their families. What do you think about the judge's decision? Should the government prioritize the safety and well-being of these children? Or should they be returned to their home countries as quickly as possible? Share your thoughts in the comments below.